Hey everybody, we'll get going in 1 minute here. Can everybody hear me? Hopefully you can all hear me. I'm going to be getting going here in about 1 minute. I just want to get a couple more people into the room here. think I'm having technical difficulties on this for some reason, guys. Just hang on for 1 second. I think I'm going to cancel this event and just have to start up a live stream. If you're watching now, just apologize. Hi everybody, I'm back again. Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties here. I set up an event in my YouTube channel for an event to happen a few hours down the road, but for whatever reason, my live streaming embed code didn't want to play in, and it had a little glitch, so I had to restart the whole thing. Hopefully some of you managed to get on to it, excuse me, and hopefully it didn't mess things up too much here for you. But anyway, we're just going to give everybody about 1 more minute to sign in here, and then I'm just going to post one more quick link on the Instagram page here to make sure everybody is aware that we're around, and we'll get going here. If you can just bear with me for 2 minutes, and then we'll get started. Okay, we're going to get rolling here, everybody. Sorry for the delay. Again, was just having some technical issues here with the live stream and everything, so we're going to get rolling here right now. I appreciate you waiting. Today, a couple of things. I just wanted to give you a real quick overview of the website that we have here, so you can kind of familiarize yourself and see what we offer for trading and our market analysis, and some of our thoughts on you know, a number of different pairs, and then I want to walk over to the markets here and just explain a little bit about what I want to do this evening, and talk a little bit about the some price levels that I've been watching on a couple of different pairs, and actually analyze a couple pairs with you guys tonight so you can see it live as it's happening. And if there's something that sets up nicely, we might even be taking a trade as well too. So we'll play that one by ear. We'll see how that goes, and go from there. Okay, let's get started here. So, for those of you new to our website, I just want to kind of take a minute here and just show you a little bit about what we're at and what we do. So, with our group, with Future 45 Trade Signals, we have a few analysts around the globe that work together to provide trade signals for people who trade Forex and Commodity, and now cryptocurrency markets, which are fairly hot as of late. We started back in September, and in September we started offering services for you know, just basic market analysis, just sharing some of our thoughts on where we thought the market could trade to. Shared our ideas on a couple of trades that we were taking, and it just sort of grew from there into a bit of a signal service. So what we hope to do by doing that is help people and assist them in their trading, so that we can basically show you the levels that we identify on a price chart, and show potential entries, exits, targets, stop losses, and things like that. So But that's kind of some of the stuff that we've been doing, and we developed it into a website that really is going to be a nice tool to help traders, assist them in their own current trading. So what we've got here is a website that we throw up our weekly market analysis. So on this, you can see here we just did a couple of new ones for this week for 2018. We did a market review of last year and a look ahead into this year on the US CAD, Aussie, Euro GBP, Euro USD. Down here there's one for crude oil, copper, GBP USD or pound USD, the US dollar index, and then another one on, this one hasn't actually been updated. But down here we did one on gold, S&P, and the US dollar and Japanese yen. So just a couple of different pairs, and these really just gives everyone our thoughts and on some levels that we saw hit in the past and where we could be going next year. And we update these every single week. So typically right before Monday's open or after Monday's open, we will upload. Sorry, scratch that. I changed that. We will be uploading all of these before market open on Monday to give you our weekly overview of what we're expecting in the markets. And that gets changed and updated every single week. And we're just getting back after Christmas trading as well too. So the markets are still, they're a little bit choppy. We typically don't trade too much in December just because a lot of large money moves to the sidelines, and you know, there's not a whole lot of activity that we really want to be taking part in. There could potentially be wild price swings and things like that during holiday trading, so we tend to just sit on the sidelines and sit it out until early January. So we're really getting back into it now. It is the 3rd now of January, and trading's really just getting started. So we're going to be starting as of next week to kick out our signals as usual. So you can look forward to that for next week. You can log into our website, which, by the way, is for free. If you're not currently a member and not watching this, you can sign up to our website for free just by going to f45trading.com. You just enter your information, your email address, your name, your country, a couple of details, and then you can sign up for 30 days for free by entering your credit card, and nothing gets charged to you. You can cancel at any time if you don't like it, and obviously if you do like it, which I think you will, you can stick around with us for as long as you want and take part in all the signals that we're doing. Starting, this is really the first week that we're starting it. We're now doing live webinars, so twice a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays we will be doing sessions like these, where we will actually open up the markets, go through them, and take live trades and answer some of your questions that you may have, and try to assist you in whatever you're working on there. So that's just new starting this week. And then our next section is just these are our simple trade signals, and you can kind of see what these are all about right here. None of these are live or active or anything because we haven't put any trade signals out yet. These will all be updated here starting next week with our new signals. So you can kind of see what these are all about. You just log in. If it's a Monday, you come in, you see what's trading. If it's a long entry, if it's a short entry, and check out the analyst comments. And then there will also be in this section right below here, there will be a chart of the actual trade that we are expecting to take place sitting right here. So you can watch for that, and every single day of the week we have different signals for different days, so you can watch for those. This is where you'll be able to find our live webinars section here. So once we get some of the bugs worked out of it, again, this is just some new stuff that we're working on here, and some of the software on the website has to be ironed out a little bit. Some of the links have to be updated, so when we do get that ironed out, those webinars will just go and sit right in here. So as a member, you'll know, every Tuesday and every Thursday at 12 a.m. New York time, we'll come in, we'll be doing a webinar for an hour or two, and you can just come in here, click on that, and away you go, and it'll take you right to the live site. Or you can sign up to our YouTube site, our YouTube channel at F45 Trading on YouTube. You can do a search for us on there. Or obviously, if you're watching this now on YouTube, you can just click the little button down in the right-hand corner where our logo is and click subscribe. The next one here, just a real quick walkthrough, is our weekly video analysis archive. So you can go through here and you can see all of the videos that we've done thus far. So everything that goes into our weekly market analysis every single week gets put into our archive. So you can go back and you can watch through this and browse through it, and you can even see live what we, some of the levels that we had called. So I mean, you can go all the way back to November's trading when we started to do this and see the levels that we called in these videos, and then you can walk right over to the charts and actually see if those levels panned out, which you will find a lot of them have. So we're fairly accurate with our trade signals that we put out. And then the last one here, this is probably one of the newest sections of the website, is our educational section. So as a member, you can come in, and if you're a new trader, novice trader, or even an expert trader, you can come in here and you can browse our videos, our how-to videos on how to use the site, how to use charts, how to trade an MT4. This one hasn't been uploaded yet, so this will be coming out probably tomorrow, on how to take partial profits with some of your trades. And just some great information here that you should be taking a look at. And none of these videos are very long. I think the longest one is 20 minutes. The majority of them average to about 10 minutes long, so they're very quick. And we'll be adding to these as well as we go forward. As we develop the site out, we'll be putting new education videos in there. And the great thing is it's interactive. So if you have a question on anything, or if you want to see a video that's or see some education information that you're lacking in your trading, or you have some questions, just send them off to f45trading@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you right away and try and get something uploaded on this section here for you. So that's just a real brief rundown of the website. You can kind of see what it's all about, get a bit of a look and a feel for it for free here. And again, all of our signals and everything go live next week. And this one area here, these are just our trade updates. These are just a quick area where you can go in as a member and you can see what's happening, the latest. If you've missed something, you can always catch up right then and there. And I actually need to do a refresh because I just uploaded for January 4th. And you can see here, live webinar starting now. Drag and drop this link in it, and away you go. So there you go. So that's the website. Now I'm going to just switch over to the markets here and get going on some of this analysis here. So just so everybody knows, this is all a demo account. There's no live funds on the line here. Anything that we're suggesting here today, this evening, we are not suggesting that you take this as a trade. These are just our thoughts only and our opinions. Any trades that you see executed in here, it's all a demo account. As you can see here, I'm using something called Forex Ltd as an MT4 demo account, and you can see here, I'll just try and bring this down for you. You can see here, demo account. So I'll be running all my stuff off of this. From time to time, I'll switch over to another MT4 chart that's also a demo, just because this one here in particular, it only has a couple of Forex pairs that I'm looking at, and the other demo account has a few commodities and the like that I like to run through. So we'll just show you on that other platform going forward here, but I'll just do a quick analysis on this so you can kind of see where we're at, and we'll see if there's any trades out there that are worth taking here today. So this is the first off. What I like to do is go through the US dollar index and see if we can get some directional bias from there. This US dollar index is one of the major indices that we look at to get our opinions about what the rest of the markets are going to do. And in particular, everything traded with the dollar index as a cross. So I mean, by that I mean the Euro USD, the Pound USD, the US CAD, the Australian dollar, USD, NZD, USD, and on and on and on. So basically everything crossed with the US dollar is considered a major pair, and that's typically what we trade at F45 Trade Signals. We don't do any, sorry, I should say we don't do too many exotic pairs. and things of that nature. It's just something that we're more comfortable with going off the the US dollar index for an analysis, and we like to stay that way because we find our probabilities and our profitability is much higher by doing that. So we start with the US dollar index, and we'll just have a quick look at that now and call out a couple of levels. So you can see here we've got a low that's come all the way back. When was this? The 8th of September. I'm sorry, yeah, that's right, the 8th of September. That's kind of the lowest low, and the highest, most recent high would be these guys right in here. We'll just draw another line on there and just kind of outline just some areas where we've been, this currency has been trading in, just to kind of give you an idea. Try and get this line straight there, and it drives me crazy. So you can kind of see here, it's been trading between 90.96 and 95.15. So price hasn't gone lower, hasn't gone higher than that, and it's just sort of been chopping along. You can see here we've had a nice directional bias on the US dollar index for the past little while, up until about about the middle of September, and you can see that the dollar index had made a nice healthy retracement back up, and then since then it's just been falling out of bed again and continuing its downward slide. So it looks like this thing is going to stay bearish for the next foreseeable future, and you can go down into a weekly chart and you can kind of see some levels in here. There's definitely some areas, and I'll just throw a quick chart up. There's definitely some areas over here that I'm pretty interested in below the September low right here. You can see here I'm fairly interested in this area here. I think if this index decides to push lower below this low, we could easily see price reach down to the 89 level, 89.32, 89.50. We'll call it just 89.50, just for kind of a nice round number for right now. Once price gets lower below this low, we can refine this a bit from there, but let's just assume for now that price is going to continue its downward trend until price really breaks. I'd say this level. Now we do have a bit of a gap here, so we might want to trade back up on this feed anyway. But I would suggest that if price comes up and starts to break these levels in here, then we may see price wanting to go a little bit higher. This trend line drives me crazy. I would say if price wants to come in and sort of break and fill this gap in and push much higher, like if price wants to get up anywhere higher than here, then we could be looking at some short-term bullishness to the US dollar index. I'll just throw a quick price label in on that as well too. So about the 93.72, 93.70 you could call it, somewhere in that area. If price comes up and does not reject off of this little gap here and want to continue down, then we could see some short-term bullishness to this, and we could maybe see some of these highs wanting to get run and to taken out, because we do have some areas up in here that I want to see filled as well too. So I'll just maybe put a price marker up there. I don't, again, think it's going to get there. It started off fairly bearish, and I think we'll probably continue our bearish bias on the US dollar index. But again, we'll just put these levels on here just in case, just so you've got them. And then this level down here that I wanted called out was about 89.50-ish. That price could reach down to if it wants to break this low here. So with that quick analysis being said, there are a couple of trend lines that we can follow and we can look at. We don't do a ton off of trend lines, in my opinion, because I don't necessarily trust them all that much. They are good and they do come in handy in some areas, but I don't always put all my faith and all my trades in them. I look for a lot of other entries to get in on my positions before I'll ever trust one of these trend lines. But it just kind of gives you an idea of sort of what we're looking at here. But price has broke down nicely on this pair, and I would expect this to continue, especially into sort of mid towards the end of January type of time frame. And then we could see a reversal. Price may want to come down and drop below this low and go straight back up. We don't really know what's going to happen there. So anyway, if the US dollar index is heading down, what we typically find is that all of the cross pairs associated with the US dollar are going to go in the opposite direction. If you have the US dollar index as the last pair in that currency basket, for example, the Euro USD, you can see here, you should see the opposite reaction. So what do I mean by that? If the US dollar index is going down, the Euro USD should be going up. And you can see that here nicely. There's just been a very, very nice bullish, healthy bullish move on the Euro USD, pardon me. So like I say, if you see the US dollar index as the last currency in this basket, it will do the exact opposite of what the US dollar index will do. If it, for example, in US CAD currency market's case, US dollar index is the first currency in this basket, then this will be highly correlated to what the US dollar index will do. So if the US dollar index is going down, the US CAD also will go down. And you can see here there's been a nice healthy drop in the US CAD. And you can see here, and this is kind of why I don't really trust trend lines for reasons like this. I won't get too technical with this, but you can kind of see what I mean here. There was a nice healthy downward trend line happening with the US CAD, and it just completely ripped out of it. And now that we're continuing bearish movement again. So, you know, what was all of this in here, right? I mean, so that's kind of one of the reasons. And again, we go off the US dollar index. This was a nice healthy decline here. The US CAD, which is supposed to be correlated with it, showed a little bit of strength in this area from late September to early November. And you didn't get that corresponding with this, other than this little movement here. So for the most part, I don't really trust those, and that's why. But anyway, back to the Euro USD. So this is a nice little pair that we typically analyze on a daily basis, and I'll just throw out a couple of levels on here just because that's what we do. We go in, start with the dollar index, and then we'll work our way down to all the corresponding pairs from there. So we've got some lows in here, and there's another low over here. And I'm just going to draw out a couple of levels on the chart here, and then we'll see where it's at. And just if you're ever wondering how you keep these trend lines straight when you're pulling them out, you can hold down your shift key and you can move these, and it'll always maintain a straight line. And then that way, you know, you can move your cursor all over the place, but it'll always maintain a straight line. Little trick that I just found out here about a year ago that helps draw your trend lines out in your chart. There was a short-term high in here that was broken, so I'll just draw that out so you can see what we're dealing with there. And price doesn't look like it wanted to reject off of that. So typically what you'll find a lot of times is when price makes a nice bullish move out, it'll retrace a bit, and then you'll see the bullish breakout again in this case here. And sometimes price will just want to come just back up above this high, reject, and then come back down for some lows before continuing higher. But this one here, it looks like it's been, so far anyway, you know, second day of trading, we could see a nice healthy bullish breakout on this and potentially take out some highs here. So I'm just going to mark that out on the chart. So we got them. And I typically like to work with even numbers on this, so we'll do 90. and that's just this high here. It's a little bit higher than that. The high on that one is 1.2092, so we'll just call it 1.2090, just round it to a nice even number. And if price does want to come down and retest some old highs, it'll come down and retest this area right in here. So I'm just going to mark this off with a real quick area right in here. It's just a bit of a consolidation area. To be honest with you, this whole area right in here is actually a bit of a consolidation area. As you can see here, price consolidated and it broke out. It came back in the area, consolidated, and then broke out again. What we may see though is price wanting to come back to this consolidation area in here, and so I'll just maybe mark that out as well too, just so we kind of get an idea where that's at. And that comes in at 1930, we'll call it. And these are all off the daily charts as well. That's the other thing I wanted to explain just real briefly. When we get our directional bias, we're not trading off of a 15-minute chart or a 5-minute chart or anything like that. We want to trade off of the higher time frames because the higher time frames typically are the ones that are more accurate. So if we look, for example, on a monthly, sorry, I got some shrapnel on here. I just gotta get rid of. One second. Where all these levels came from. Every now and then I'll get lines on my charts that just kind of like to appear out of nowhere. That's good enough. Anyway, so you look on a monthly, we are clearly portraying a nice bullish move on the weekly chart. And I believe I've got a couple of levels on here that I'll refine a little bit more in closer detail that I think price could easily come in and hit at. I'm not going to get too technical on it, but you can kind of see what I'm driving at here. Just a couple of levels to look for. I'm not going to go into detail as to why I think those levels are going to come up, but I think this going forward, I think this is where we could go. 12800 big figure, 134.70, 134.80 level, and 4,000 level. I mean 1400 level basically. That's the area. This is the big one. This would be a big target, and that's huge. I mean that's if that does come in, I mean that's, how many pips is that from our current levels? I mean that's 2,000 pips. That's huge. We wouldn't see that happen anytime soon. I mean that'd be like a year trade type of thing, or longer. Right? I mean it could take 2 years to get up there, but I believe ultimately if price continues going this way, that's where we could reach. So that's where we are on the monthly, and we start drilling down, boiling down. Okay, where are we in the weekly? Well, we're looking like we're in a nice bull movement here, but look, all of a sudden in the weekly now you can see it looks like it's a bit of a consolidation that we're in right now. Price has sort of been chopping sideways, right? It ran up, came back down, failed to reach the high here, came back down, and now we're making another push for these highs here. So we're in a bit of a consolidating area right now. And then you come down onto the daily, and you can really see this trend breaking out nicely. But I mean, if I'm on a 15-minute, you look at this 15-minute chart, and it just looks like it's going sideways. You know, you look at a 5-minute chart, and I mean, there's really not a whole lot you can tell off of this. I mean, if anything, it looks like price could come back down and could be bearish. So what we want to do is we always want to get all of our directional bias off the higher time frames. So off of the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. And then we'll go down and we'll refine our entries off of the 1 hour and the 4 hour charts. And that's typically what we do at F45 Trade Signals. All of our signals will come off of the hour or 4 hour chart with a directional bias off of the daily and the weekly. So just to kind of give you an idea. So again, with this, what we could see price doing on the euro, we could see it come down here and just kind of do a quick rebound and then take out these highs here at 120.90. So that's kind of what we're looking at here for the euro USD. And really we're just getting into London Open right now. It's about quarter to 1 New York time. So that's kind of when the London starts heating up and you get some action happening. And so I just want to go and analyze 1 or 2 more pairs, and then we'll drop in and we'll start looking at potentially taking a couple of trades. And actually, this one here is kind of one that I do like. Let me just think about this here for 1 second. Price has been consolidating nicely over the past little while. I'm just going to go down to a 15-minute to look at this here for a second. Yesterday's trading was pretty much sideways. It didn't do a whole lot. It did fill this gap in here, and then it's come back down. We might even be able to get a trade in here on this, and maybe take a small 20 or 30 pip scalp on this. Typically, most of our trades will be shooting for anywhere from 30 to 100 pips on a daily trade. And we always make sure we take our profits in at 30 pips and then move our stop to break even, and that way we're trading risk-free. Take some profits off the table, so if price does come back down, we always pay ourselves first, and then if it does reach a 100 pip target, great. We'll capture the rest of that move, but we always want to make sure that we take some profits off the table at plus 30 pips. So that's what we typically watch for. Anyway, we could have a nice little trade down here. I'm kind of interested to see if price wants to come back into this level in here, even into 1.20 big figure. I don't know if it'll necessarily get down to there, but we could even see this level here come back into play. We'll see. This may have created the high of the week here, and we could trade much further lower from here. Again, price may want to come back down to here and then go up. So we'll watch what this wants to do here over the next half an hour to 45 minutes, and we'll see how that one pans out. The next one is the cable. I kind of outlined this one a little bit in the previous webinar that I did on Tuesday, and price actually came up and it hit it. It actually, sorry, I shouldn't say it actually just missed. I had this level scoped out here back in December, into November, early December. I thought price was easily going to come up and hit the 13600 level, and price just missed it in yesterday's trading. The high came in at 135.93, so I missed it by 7 pips. But we could see price wanting to now continue higher and take those out again. But we'll see. This was a pretty big black candle and a pretty big down candle, and typically when price does that, it rejects the highs and it's going to look to seek liquidity a bit lower before it wants to go up there. Directionally biased on the monthly, we're pretty bullish right now. You can see price has been coming on a nice strong bullish uptrend, which confirms what I mentioned of the US dollar daily chart. We're in a bearish, so anything coupled with the US dollar and has the US dollar in the end on the basket, we'll see the opposite. So we should see bullishness on the pound dollar, and that's exactly what we've been seeing here. And it looks like price wants to come back up and even test some of these levels back pre-Brexit. So, you know, we're going back here to, 2016, 2 years ago, some of these levels that haven't been seen before. So if price comes in and it wants to get above, I'm just going to change this level here. A little bit too thick for my liking. And maybe we'll change to blue. If price comes in and it wants to break this 139.20, you could even call it, here, I'm actually just going to get rid of it here. And just take this guy here. If price wants to come in and break this level here and not see any rejection off of this, oh, come on, cooperate with me. Sorry guys, I'm having a bit of trouble with this stupid price label. It's not clicking in for me here. And we gotta find that price line. Can't find it. Okay. Let me go in one more. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Sometimes the charts just don't want to cooperate with you when you do some of this stuff. Let me just see where we're at with this here. And that was on the monthly. Yeah. So if price wants to start pushing up higher past this 13900 level, then we will be looking at highs in here, obviously, and a little bit lower that could be taken out. You know, again, it took 2 years for price to drop down to our lows down here, and then to start trading higher. So you know, seeing up level that high, much higher is pretty unrealistic. But 300 pips higher, we could see that by the end of the month here, back up to the 13900. So we'll watch and see if price wants to get up there. But I definitely think that these highs here are going to be suspect, and they're going to be taken out next. So we'll just come in here quick and mark that off on our levels. So we got that, and we'll put that in. Right there. And then we've got some lows that have come in down here, so we'll mark those off. And so we know where price is trading, some levels to watch. Come on, trend line, get straight. There we go. Close enough. So as you can see here, again, price came up, rejected this high here. I'm just going to mark that off here. I'm going to take off this daily divider so you can kind of get a better idea. Double top, or tweezers, I guess, as a lot of people will call that, where price just kind of comes up, and you come up and it's just 2 wicks off of these candles, even level wicks. Price came up, hit them, took the liquidity, and then rejected, and now we're just sitting on this candle here right now. So excuse me. So we'll see what price wants to do from here. If it does want to continue higher, which would be in line with the US daily, then we could want to see, then price could want to come up and reach up higher. But this level here has pretty much been checked off. I'm going to consider that hit off of there. So again, the next level is going to be right up here at 136.65. So that's kind of what we're going to be looking at next on the radar. If price does want to reject these levels and come lower, then the levels that I'm going to be looking at are now going to be right down in here at I just want to get low. There's a bit of a gap right here that I want to look at here, that kind of drawing my interest at 33.75. So we'll just put that in there, and that would be kind of the levels that we'd be looking at. May want to do that this week, may want to do it next week, so it could do something kind of like this and come down and then want to run higher from there. So we'll see what price wants to do here as that develops. I don't think we're going to really see anything on it today too much. One of the things that we like to do, and that you want to make sure that you do, is you want to go in and you want to check out some of the major news and fundamentals that are happening for your trading session. So I'm just going to, typically what I'll do is I'll just go into something called, and if you're not familiar with this, you should be, but Forex Factory, you should be having this on your watch list at all times, finding out what's happening for the week, what's trading, when it's trading, and when the volatility is going to be taking place, because the last thing you want to do is be sitting here trading and, let's say you're down on a 1 hour chart and the price is going sideways. Okay, I'm expecting a moderate move, I'm looking at 30 pips going up or coming down or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden you come in here and there is a price fluctuation because, oh, look what we've got pound dollar news coming in, or GBP pound news coming in at 4:30 in the morning, New York time. You really don't want to be involved in that if it's a major news event, and especially FOMC. Those are the big ones, and I believe FOMC. We've got some non-farms here tomorrow. You definitely don't want to be trading tomorrow. We've got some fairly big news events in here. All your non-farms, you don't want to be trading those. Your ISM, non-manufacturing, things like that. You typically don't want to be trading those. Now the service PMI, it's a fairly big one for the cable. I'm not looking and seeing anything on the cable that's really interesting me. Sorry, I call it the cable, the pound dollar. I don't see a whole lot that's really interesting me anyway on this. I'd like to see this pair trade a little bit more into January and see sort of what price wants to do. Like I say, this candle right here that rejected off of it, and I just want to run over to another one here and just get confirmation. Sometimes you got to check the feeds on some of these just to make sure that your feed provider is giving you accurate information. This was an old signal that I had put out before. You can see here, this has been on here for a long time, 3600 target. Yeah, and you can see here, price rejected that. So the high on this one was 136.11. So it actually got it on this feed. So this is what I mean. So this is this broker here that I'm using on this demo account. This is something called Vantage FX, and this is an Australian broker. Sometimes they differ. This is a US broker called Forex Ltd, and you can see the difference here between the feeds. So this is the same day, same pair, same everything. You can see here the two feeds differ, and so you got to make sure you verify and know exactly what you're looking at. If price is looking a little bit strange, which this kind of looked at to me, then you want to make sure you get some confirmation. So we'll go back into here and we'll look at that. So let's get rid of some of this in here again. Sorry guys, 1 second. A couple of old levels that I had called, some signals that we had put out. I'll give you kind of an idea of what I was looking here. There is a huge area down here at 130.25 and 129.60 that I was looking at. Sort of this level here in the green. I was kind of expecting price to come down to these levels down here before trading up to the 13600 levels. You can see price, this was always my target up here. These highs over here, this was always my target. I was kind of actually hoping price was going to come down into here, and I was going to get off some major buy sell signals in here and watch price rocket from there. Didn't get down there. It came very close down into here. I thought price was going to dip down and then start running. Didn't do it, but I was still right in the overall directional bias of 13600. Price hit it here on this feed here quite easily. So we'll see what this wants to do now. But again, I'm not looking to take any trades, especially because, like I say again, there's some news coming out on the pound dollar, or the pound here in a couple hours, so don't want to be taking part in that right now. So we'll see where the price goes after that. And then again at 8 o'clock in the morning, there's ADP non-farm employment change, so fairly big numbers. So if you're going to be doing any trading, you pretty much want to get your trades in before these take place, or sit on the sidelines and wait for non-farm to come out tomorrow as well too, because there's going to be some wild price swings and fluctuations, and you do not want to be on the wrong side of those. So we'll watch for those. Next week, it looks like a fairly quiet week in terms of news events. Could be some good stuff coming in next Wednesday and Thursday, so we'll probably be putting out a number of trades for then. But we will update you on that moving forward into next week. But we could have some opportunities, some good opportunities to trade next week. So moving along, US CAD, I don't see a lot on here that I want to do this evening. I was looking at this pair earlier, and yeah, we do have a nice level here and some nice confluence with the US dollar index. I think ultimately price will probably want to try and reach down. If we don't see any rejection, I'll just zoom in here. If we don't see any rejections off of the current levels that we're in right here, it's come back down into a consolidation area. And to be honest with you, if price doesn't want to really reject off of this 12500 level, it could come down. Let's get rid of these daily dividers, as you can see here. Price came down, hit a low of 124.99. So I'm just going to put that in here so you can see 124.99. And we're on the daily again here, so just so you know. So if price wants to come down past this level, 129.99, we're going to see lows come down here, and we're going to see price get taken out of this consolidation area here. And I think we could even see prices come all the way down to quite easily 122.20s, in my personal opinion. And I'm just kind of put an even level on there, just because I like to work with even numbers, and so you can kind of see price is sliding down nicely. Now what we could do, we could see some rejection in this area. If price does reject, for sure it'll want to come in and it'll want to close this gap in here. And again, the other thing too, I mentioned a few minutes ago about just double checking your feeds and making sure you're getting all the right information and data feed from your brokers. I've got a gap here in this one. If I come over to my other chart and switch to a daily, you can see here that gap doesn't exist. It's just a straight bar down. So again, you can see the difference, and that would have been December 22nd and December 27th. So there's quite a gap there in the data feed. You can see here, this feed, it doesn't see that gap. December 22nd, December 27th. It's just, it was actual bars that they had put in here, down candles that they put in. So anyway, still doesn't change my overall thoughts on this pair. If we don't see any rejection off this level, and I mean, like, I'm talking this week here, if price just continues to crush lower here, we're going to see 12200 easily. If it starts rejecting, or if it starts to consolidate in this area and think about what it wants to do and not go any lower than this 124.99 level here, or maybe a real brief sweep below it and want to go higher, then we'll easily fill this level in here. And I'll just mark that up here for you. We could start to see, this would be a pretty attainable goal here, I think, short term. Right there. Oh, sorry. I love it when it does that. So that would kind of be what we'd be looking at if price decides to bounce from here. So if it just kind of comes down here a little bit, it could even come down here, and it could take out some of the levels just below that blue line and then come up. They typically, what traders like to do when you see bullish price action like you see here, a lot of them, they sit there and well, you know, maybe some of them missed their move, or they did get in lower here, price comes up, they consolidate here, and then it pushes through this consolidation. 9 times out of 10, a lot of traders will jam their stops up right in under here, and you can see price just sort of meandered sideways here for since the middle of October. It's now come back down. Here's a very, very good chance that they could be coming down to take those stops underneath here, so just watch for that. Price could want to come all the way back down to 123.90. Actually, just get the low, the exact low of this level in here is this candle right here, 124.34. So, you know, you could call it 124.30, good enough. If price goes lower than that, 124.30, they could easily do 10 to 20 pip stop run and come down to 124, I'd say. 24.30. That would be kind of the line in the sand. If price is going to go up from here, that would be the absolute line in the sand. I wouldn't want to see price go any lower than that. It shouldn't even get down that low. If it's going to do a quick stop run, it'd be 124.30, you know, to 124.10 type of area, and then it'd run higher from there. So again, just depending on what this pair wants to do. I don't see anything in here that I really like trading for today, unless they're, let me just go down to the 1 hour. So price has really been just sort of chopping sideways, and again, I think that's just because of the news that's coming out. Obviously, we've got non-farms coming on Friday, and a lot of traders, it's the first week back, first couple of days back, so we may not see a whole lot of action Price could just want to just keep going sideways for the rest of the rest of the week until we see the fireworks happen on Friday. So that's the U.S. CAD. Gold I'm not going to go into. If you want to see some more information on gold, you can go over to sign up to our website. Go over here, and one of my analysts actually we just posted a video today on gold. You can see it right here. Actually, and this is on our YouTube channel as well too. You can log over, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can actually see his thoughts on gold, the S&P, and US US yen. You can see what some of the levels that he's calling out on that as well. But I'm not going to go into it today just because for time's sake here we're already an hour into it, and you know, you can easily find that information out on your own. So I'll just keep kind of walking through. The Aussie is another one. Great bull run on Aussie. This has been a great pair to trade if you've been consistently trading it and had a bullish bias, which you should have on this pair, because this is giving you nothing but bullish signals moving forward here for the past little while. Just a real quick trend line there. You can see hasn't been broken. Been in a nice steady decline here for the past number of years, and then finally looks like it hit a bit of a low down in this area right here at the .6975 level, and just been screaming higher from there. And it's about 800 pips higher from the lows that it had created back in, when was that low? Back in September of 2015. So 3 years later, we're now much higher on this pair, and it doesn't look like it wants to quit. There's a lot of areas up in here that I think price could trade to. First levels I'm thinking are 8,700 basically. Big figure. That could be a target if we continue to see bullish momentum on the Aussie dollar. That would be a big area that I'd be looking at. And hell, you'd even, the starts off slow, we'd be looking at these these highs up in here as our first target. This level up in here, this is long term obviously, but to come back up in this consolidation in here, I think that could be easily attainable for this year. So we'll wait and see what happens there, but been given some nice bullish momentum on Aussie dollar as of late, and I would imagine that's going to continue. We may want to see some pullback after price comes up and takes out these highs here. This is going to be the next level that's going to get hit right up here, and that comes in at $78.85 to $78.90. You could even call it 7,900, big figure. I think price would easily come up and hit that without a problem, and we could even see that here. We're trading currently at 78.49, 78.50 right now. So I mean, that's only a few pips away, 50 pips away. So we could even see that before the end of the week here, which would be great. And we'll just have a quick peek at this here. Price hasn't quite come in and filled in this gap, and again, I'd like to confirm these gaps. I'm just going to switch over to my other feed here and see what we've got. Yeah, see, that gap doesn't exist on this feed, so it looks like price had come down and has been trading up nice and steady ever since. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 for the last 5 hours. Took out these highs here, so I don't really see a trade here unless what price could do. It did break out, so price may want to come in and let's get to the high here. Price may want to actually come down and do a retest on it and then a continuation higher. So I'll just travel down to the 15-minute mark here. You can really see right here how many times, I mean, just areas of resistance, you know, banged on the door, couldn't get through, dropped back down, came back up, banged on the door 1, 2, 3 more times, dropped back down, and now it finally pushed through. So I want to see kind of what price at, and it actually just did this just on this candle here about 15 minutes ago. So I kind of want to see what price does on this. There could be a nice trade on here for a continuation higher. There are some levels below that I think could, if price wants to do a little bit of a retracement before it gets any higher, the price could come down to, so we'll just kind of mark those out here. 177.50 would be a pretty good level. Price may not want to come all the way back down here. This is about 100 pips from where it's at. We'd have to see some bearishness coming in on it. But it did just break through this high here and took out some stops, so we'll see if it wants to continue from there. Again, one of the trades that we could do is we could take a long off of this area right in here, and see if price wants to continue higher, and then do, as I mentioned before, come in on, oops, sorry, back on this chart here, I put the level, and hit this .7900 level, which is only 50 pips away. So that could be a good trade that we could see happen here. So I'll just run that on this guy here, and let's just see how that looks. And we'd know pretty much right away if this trade was going to pan out. So I'll just actually put it on these body highs here. That's a little bit stronger of a level for me, in my opinion. I hate it when these lines don't line up. There we go. What does that come in at? And we could have missed this one. Price may have come up and just cranked right through. So .7845. No, that's a pip too high, I think. No. We'll just call out of that for now, for argument's sake. But if price wants to come, here, we could see it on this candle as well too. If price wants to come lower, that's a little too low. If price really wants to come in and come lower than this level right in here, call it 78.30. I'd say about 15 pips I'd give it. I wouldn't give it much more than that. So you could take a long off of here, price come down, do one of these, and then bounce higher and shoot for that target of, come on. Where the hell was that target? Jeez, sometimes I'll tell you, these fucking charts drive me crazy. There it is there. We'll just run this over here. 79 big figure. Okay, there it is. I should be able to see that now in the lower time frame. And again, and just so you know, I mean, I mentioned earlier before about trading off the higher time frame. I'm taking all of my bias off the daily. I'm looking for entries though on the hour. And my actual entry on the 15-minute in this case, just because price just broke an area of resistance in here. So anyway, what I'm thinking here, we could take a trade off of this level here, see what price wants to do. I'm not going to jump in there right now and do it because we never want to do that. But I would permit price to come down, and if it wants to go any lower than 78.30, I wouldn't want to take that trade. So I'd kind of want to see what price does here. If it sits here, if it comes down and it just kind of sits and immediately reacts off of this and goes higher, we know we got one and we can get in on the trade and shoot for that .7900. Or if price comes down here and then it just keeps starting to creep lower, these two blue lines here, that would really be it. And then this 78.30 level, that would be the line in the sand where I would actually kill the trade. So you could go in and you could do a long entry at 78.44, 78.45, and get a long off and put your stop in 15 pips lower and a target of plus 50 pips on this one. So you know what, this is a demo account. Again, we're just trading demo here. We can see how this pans out. So I just started a demo account here. I've got $5,000 equity on the demo account, so it's just, you know, this is kind of a reasonable account that most traders have. $5,000. It's not typically a stretch. So that's for demo purposes. That's what we do. And in terms of risk on $5,000, I wouldn't want to be trading anything over. I wouldn't be doing a lot or anything like that. Like, a lot of people will go in and, you know, one lot. I wouldn't be doing anything like that. For something like this, scalping like this, it's not the highest probability. Again, we've got some items coming out towards the end of the week that typically inject a lot of volatility into the market, so I would elect to go a little bit lower. So we'll do 1 mini, and price might be trading a little close to the market, but we'll see if we can get a price level in here. There, put a stop in at 178.30, and our take profit was 179, big figure. No, price trading too close, so I got to actually go down to get an entry. So there's one of two things here, and this is what I'll explain, what I've explained in other videos before, was when you're entering price, depending on what system you're using, what broker provider you're using, what MT4 system you're using, if price is within about 5 or even some cases 10 pips of where your entry level is, and you want to put a limit order in, so you can just set it and walk away and forget it and wait for price to do its thing to come down to your level, and you don't have to sit in front of your charts and watch it. A lot of times price can't be trading within 10 pips of where your entry level is, just for that reason. So that's why I put it in here. So we're here trading right now. I mean, I'm not too worried about if price gets in, comes down to 178 or sorry 0.7845 or 0.7844. I can always do a market order and just buy at the market, obviously, and set all my entry levels in here and everything and do that. So that's not a problem. We're kind of watching it now. And price may not even come down. So far it looks like it wants to continue higher and break those levels, so I might even take a market order on the next down candle that it puts out, and it might be a bit higher. It might be 10 pips higher than what it is right now. I don't know, so we'll just have to kind of wait and see what price wants to do. If you guys have any questions or anything as well too, by all means, I've got a little questions chat box up here that you guys can ask me. Like I say, by all means, ask away. We're here to help if we can, and we'll try to get all your questions answered. So we're only going to be online here trading for probably about another maybe 10-15 minutes, and I think we're going to call it a night. This is a long enough session. So I just kind of want to see what price does here, if it wants to actually trade up higher. That seems a great expansion, so you can see here now this wasn't a fake out. Sometimes price will hit these levels, hit these ceilings, and sort of build in some orders. Everyone thinks it's going to go lower, and then price just rams higher and takes them right out. Or price will just kind of poke its head through, do a quick retest, and then ram back up. So we'll see what it wants to do, but I'd love to see if that level of 7,900 would be hit before New York Open. That would be great. Sorry, I don't think it would hit before New York Open, before New York close, I mean. So we'll see if that pans out. And I'm just going to have a look back at this Euro trade that I was looking at. Yeah, I don't know if there's much on Euro. Again, price could be shooting up to this 1.2090 level here. It's currently at 1.2028. We'll go down to a lower time frame here. Let's see on a 15-minute here. I kind of wanted to see price come down to this level here, 120 even. I don't know if we're going to see it though. I kind of wanted to see price take out some of these lows down here and then continue higher, but it may just start going chop, 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 and then go straight higher up to the level that I had called earlier, up to this guy here. So I don't really like that as much in terms of probabilities, but for argument's sake, excuse me, we could see price want to come up and touch back off of this level here. It could be very foreseeable and want to go higher if this pair decides to continue higher. So it could do something like this here, which would be an option that we can look at as well too. I just don't know on this one here. Again, it's really early in the week, or sorry, early in the month for trading into January. We're still technically on holiday hours, and you don't get real trending good movement typically for a week or two after the holidays wrap up. But you can see here, nice trend zone coming in here, trend line coming in. Oh, pardon me, guys. Been a bit of a long day today. So let's just go back in here quick and look at the euro on this feed. See what we've got here. Yeah, price is kind of coming down here, taking out some of the lows from this consolidation area here, and looks like it may want to punch higher. But I do see some levels down here that I kind of like. To be honest with you, I kind of like this level a little bit better. Right in here, we could see a healthy retrace back down here if price wants to go lower, and then want to start going up from there. We might see that. Typically what I like to look for are areas of consolidation. Typically if there's a consolidation area, you can see right here, price will return to these areas and then continue in their direction. So what I mean by that is basically just this. You can see here, price consolidating, broke out, returned to the consolidation, and then continued its trend higher. You know, consolidated, broke out, came back down, returned to the consolidation, and then resumed its trend higher. Again, price kind of did a little bit of a, not much, but a little bit of consolidation in here, so it may not even get down to that level. I mean, we could even, honestly, we could only even see maybe price come down to about here, 119.70, if it does want to come down at all. I mean, we don't know. Price tried to reach down for it here, and it looks like it had failed, and price has bounced higher from there, so we'll see what happens there. But I don't really like this as much anymore. I kind of like this this Aussie trade that we were looking at from before here. Price seems to want to move out of this area and continue higher, so this is kind of one that I've been looking at here to get into, I think, moving forward. And now there's also one other commodity that I was actually looking at here just the other day that I wanted to bring everyone's attention to just real quick here. Copper was a great one. I called out levels on copper back when price was trading up here. So I knew price was going to take out this level here quite easily, this 3.2400 level. I knew price was easily going to take this out when it was starting to chop down here. And what I said was I want price to either come down to this level here or this level here, and start to trade higher. And my real target was this guy right here, this consolidation area right in here. This was my real target, and you can see what price did. It came down and traded right into the middle of that consolidation and just exploded off of that level. Just beautiful price action. And I had a number of levels that I called in here, but you can go back through videos that I've done back into, when did I start talking about this? Back in like early October. I saw this price run up here, and I said, no, I don't want to buy it up here. I want to wait for price to come back down, retrade back into this consolidation area, and then get in on long. So that's exactly what the price did. You can go back and you can look at past videos that I've done, and past signals that I've put out on my Instagram feed and everything else on that at Future 45 Trade Signals on Instagram. Check us out on there if you're not following us on there. But I have levels back in there that I was calling since you know, back in October, that really interested me. So I had, anyway, I put that out and you can see what price did. I mean, this is a gigantic movement. This was a, if you got a hold of this one, this was a 400 pip movement in this commodity. So great trade here. I'm going to have to do some more analysis on it. Price came down, tested this high in here. We could see some more highs off of this as well too. So we'll be looking at for that going forward. But there's just one other little item in here that I kind of liked, and it was actually cocoa. I think I accidentally closed that. 1 second here, guys. I just want to cocoa. So look at this chart here, and I just want to kind of outline a couple of things here. So price came down here, and it just took out these lows, these old lows here from back in earlier, mid 2017. Price took out those levels, and sorry, 1 second, guys. I just want to. Just got to send off a note to my Twitter account. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Sorry, 1 more second here. Okay, sorry about that. Just wanted to do one last little note on my Twitter feed. Anyway, just discussing cocoa here. I've got some ideas on this as a commodity. Now, this has kind of caught my eye. You can see here for the majority of 2017, price had a nice steady movement offboard, and then just in the past, well, I guess since about November, early November, the first week of November, prices kind of fell off, dropped down, and it took out the old lows over here. And I'm not going to go too much into it on this session here. I'll talk about it a little bit more as price sort of develops, but I do have a level in here that I want to see. If price trades down to, I'd be interested in picking up some longs on it, just because I'll have to identify the exact level, but call it about 1840, somewhere in there. If price does this, basically, comes down, trades down, and then it rejects off of this 1840 level, I'm looking for highs. I'm looking for these highs over here to be taken out, and this would be a monster move. You would be this put into the right demo accounts, and I say demo because that's what we'd be trading. That's the only thing I discuss on here are demo accounts. No live funds in here, but you could make a lot of money in your demo account if you actually took this trade. If this panned out, and this would probably take a couple of months. This would be, you know, 3 weeks to 2 months, I'd say, realistically, for it to pan out. If this trade did come to fruition. So this is just something I'm going to be looking at moving forward here in the next couple of days. Probably see it maybe even into next week, but this would sort of be the line in the sand right here, this level, right off of there. That would be sort of what I would be looking at. If price comes down and rejects that, we're going to go higher, and it's going to go much higher, I believe, in my opinion. At the very least, we might get a move even at the very least up to this level here, this 2020 level here. So you never know. Quite interesting anyway, in my opinion. If you trade commodities, we do put out signals for several commodities, just a few in particular, sugar, cotton, cocoa, copper, things of that nature, gold, silver, things like that. We do trade it. So if you are a commodity trader or want to look into it, then make sure you continue to follow us, because we're putting out some good stuff on that. So just back to this Aussie trade real quick here. I'm not going to stick around for too much longer to discuss this, but you can kind of see what we're looking at here. Price, I don't know if it's going to want to continue to get back down here. So what I'm going to do basically is I'm just going to kind of call it a session here. I still want to see price rebound back down here to the 78.45 level at the very least. It just hasn't done that. I'm just going to flip down to a 5-minute chart and see if price did it. It just expanded up, and then it wanted to come down on this candle here, but it failed. It failed to come back and retest these highs and continued higher from there. So it may not come back down. So if you want to get involved on this, you may have to take a long entry from here. But I would, what I'm going to look for is if price goes to 78.90, sorry, to 78.60, I might get a long in there. But this is kind of what I'm looking at. What I want to see price do is just drop down about another 5 pips or 7 pips or so to get into my buy area, and then away we go. And I might actually even just move this guy up here if it'll allow me. It might not. Sorry, it was a brand new demo account that I just set up. No, it's not going to allow me to move it up any. Price is trading too close to the market. Oh, it did. There we go. Okay, so that's kind of the level that I want to be in at right there. That would be ideal. 78.45 is what I put that in at. So we'll see if that comes in. But for now, I think that's going to about do it. I've been on for about an hour and a half on this live trading session here. And again, that's typically what you can kind of expect. If something's happening in the market, we'll be looking at going into right away. We may not be doing these sessions for this long next time, obviously, but you know, we will be going in for at least a half an hour to an hour, doing just some quick overview analysis, and then seeing if there's any trades that are worth taking, and then we'll be jumping in on those trades. So that's kind of what you can expect going forward. Unless there's a session, unless there's some great trading going on and it's just too juicy to get away from the markets, then we'll be doing longer sessions. But you know, you can feel free to jump in and jump out as you wish. You know, you don't have to stay in and watch the full thing. It'll be posted to our YouTube channel, so you can always come back and check it later if you can't get the whole thing right away. So that's kind of what you can expect moving forward. And every single Tuesday and Thursday of each week, we'll be doing these live sessions, and we'll be taking, if there's a trade, we'll be taking a trade in a demo account, and we'll be kind of walking through and everybody through, and so you can see what's happening. And again, encourage you to participate if you have any questions at all, or just some comments or anything you want to talk about. Just shoot it over into the chat, and we'll be more than happy to chat with you on that. But we hope going forward that this is going to be a fairly popular thing, and that some people can get some good information out of it, and that you know, there's going to be some value there for everybody. So you know, shoot a comment if you watch this. Shoot a comment over after you watch the video. Let us know what you're thinking. Log in and sign up to our Instagram feed at Future 45 Trade Signals. I'll just bring our I'll just actually bring it over here right now for you so you can kind of see. So go over to Future 45 Trade Signals on Instagram and follow us there. We do a lot of correspondence with everybody, a lot of updates, you know, new video releases, things like that on there. We put out trade signals, as you can see as well too. And I'll maybe even just go back a couple. You can see some of these trade signals that I put out. For example, like there's a short on the S&P, there's a long on gold, there's a crude long entry, things like that. So that's how I get a lot of the signals out to some of our subscribers on Instagram. We also do updates, daily updates on our website. So there's a lot of stuff that we do on our there's a lot of stuff that we do on our social media platforms to keep everybody involved and keep you updated as to what we're doing, and some of the stuff that we're working on, some of the signals. So the idea being that nobody misses anything. You always get the signals and you always get the trades. So that's kind of what we're looking at here anyway, and we're going to wrap it up here. I'll just jump back onto this Aussie trade real quick. Looks like price is wanting to really reach for those highs, so I might just take a market order here. We'll see what happens, how price kind of wants to trade out going forward, but that's kind of what I'm looking at for the day. We will not be trading after New York close Thursday, so that's 12 noon New York. We typically will not be trading for the rest of the week from there, just so you know. There will not be any signals coming out on Friday. But next Monday, the 8th, is a whole new week, so you can look for some new analysis videos and a bunch of new signals coming your way starting towards early next week. So you can look forward to that. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. I do appreciate your time. Hopefully you got some value out of this, and we will talk with you on the next live webinar, which will be next Tuesday, same time, 12 a.m. New York time, for the start of the London session, and we'll be rolling with that schedule going forward as well. Every Tuesday and every Thursday at 12 a.m. New York time, we will be doing a live session for, again, anywhere from a half an hour to an hour typically is what we'll be aiming for. So you can look forward to those. And I think that's about everything for this evening. So thank you very much for your time, everybody, and we will talk to you soon.